Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to episode 489 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. As the introduction said, my name is Brent Hanks, the owner of Recruit Me LLC and the host of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Recruit Me is an athletic recruiting education business. You can go to the recruit-me.com website, where you can not only get new and past the Athletic Scholarship Podcast episodes for free, but you can get the free Recruiting Power Pack and the free Recruit Me monthly newsletter. Also on the recruit-me.com website, you can get access to the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System. For a small investment of only $39, you will be emailed a PDF file that includes a 200-plus page recruiting manual and workbook, along with 3 helpful worksheets: the Parameters Worksheet, the College School List Worksheet, and the College Research Worksheet. So right after you finish listening to this episode and sharing this episode, go to the recruit-me.com website. Last week's episode 488, was a review of a podcast episode from the College Recruiting Weekly podcast, hosted by Dan Tudor. Dan is a recruiting coach for college coaches and college athletic departments. In episode 217 of the College Recruiting Weekly podcast, he interviewed Keith Mondello, a college athletic director and college coach, and a recruiting coach for student athletes. During my review, I pointed out that Mondello said that athletic recruiting has its own language, its own terminologies. So I'm going to take you back to one of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast episodes, episode 218, that gives you some of the athletic recruiting jargon and definitions. Good sources for these language prompts are the NCAA.org, the NAIA.org, and the NJCAA.org websites. So let's get into the replay of some of episode 218, a past episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Welcome to episode 218 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. I'm Brent Hanks, the owner and CEO of Recruit Me. I would like to invite you to go to recruit-me.com and sign up for the free Recruiting Power Pack. It's a great way to kick off your recruiting process. Just like any other project you take on, there is a special language, a list of jargon that is familiar to those inside the project, but foreign to those outside or just getting in. The recruitment project is one that the student athlete and his or her family get into maybe once, and sometimes it is on time, sometimes it is in a rush. So you may know sports jargon like the intentional walk, or what zone coverage is, or what a pick and pop is. But do you know about the evaluation period? Let's get into some recruiting jargon. Starting with the most basic, what is the definition of recruiting? According to NCAA.org, the NCAA defines recruiting as, quote, any solicitation of a prospective student athlete or their parents of securing a prospective student athlete's enrollment and ultimate participation in the institution's intercollegiate athletics program, unquote. Wow, how about we just say anytime a college coach shows interest in a player? Here are some more definitions of recruiting terms according to the NCAA. A contact. A contact occurs anytime a college coach says more than hello during a face-to-face contact with a college-bound student-athlete or his or her parents off the college campus. A recruiting calendar. Recruiting calendars help promote the well-being of student-athletes and coaches and ensure competitive equity by defining certain time periods in which recruiting may or may not occur in a particular sport. A contact period. During a contact period, a college coach may have face-to-face contact with college-bound student-athletes or their parents. They may watch student-athletes compete and visit their high school. They may write or telephone student-athletes or their parents. Writing includes text, social media, and DMs. An evaluation period. During an evaluation period, a college coach may watch college-bound student-athletes compete, visit their high school, write or telephone a student-athlete or their parents. However, a college coach may not have face-to-face contact with a college-bound student-athlete or their parents off the college's campus during an evaluation period. So yes, on coaches making calls, emails, texts, or DMs, Yes on college coaches on the college campus. No on the college coach talking to a student athlete at an off-campus event. No to a college coach talking to the student athletes at the school or at the student athlete's home. Yes to the college coach watching a recruit at an event or away from their high school. A quiet period. During a quiet period, a college coach may only have face-to-face contact with a college-bound student athlete or their parents on the college campus. A coach may not watch the student athletes compete unless a competition occurs on the college campus, or they cannot visit their high school. Coaches may write or telephone college-bound student athletes or their parents during this time. So yes on calls, emails, texts, or DMs, and yes on watching on-campus events with the student athlete, and no on talking to or watching student athletes at an event off-campus or at their high schools. A dead period. During a dead period, a college coach may not have face-to-face contact with a college-bound student athlete or their parents, and may not watch student athletes compete or visit their high schools. Coaches may write and telephone student athletes or their parents during this time. An official visit. Any visit to a college campus by a college-bound student athlete or his or her parents paid for by the college. The college can pay for transportation to and from the college for the prospect. They can pay for lodging and 3 meals per day for both the prospect and the parents or the guardians, as well as reasonable entertainment expenses including 3 tickets to a home sports event. An unofficial visit. Visits that are paid for by the college-bound student athlete or their parents. The only expenses a college-bound student athlete may receive from a college during an unofficial visit are 3 tickets to a home sports event. Those terms were part of episode 218 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. A large part of that past episode covered the National Letter of Intent, or NLI. Well, the NLI is not part of today's recruiting. Today, an NCAA commit can sign an athletic aid agreement. According to the Guide for the College-Bound Student Athlete, 2025-2026 on the NCAA.org website, it says, an athletics aid agreement. In your senior year of high school, you can sign a Division I or Division II athletics aid agreement for a scholarship. Here's what happens once you sign. The signing school agrees to provide a scholarship if you're admitted to the school, remain eligible, and meet the terms outlined in your agreement. Your Eligibility Center account will show signed. An email is sent to you, the signing school, and the NCAA school that has you on their institutional request list. Other NCAA coaches must stop contacting you and your support system, family members, coaches, advisors. You cannot sign with more than one school at a time. To talk to a new school, you must be released by the signing school. For more information on Athletic Aids Agreement, visit on.nca.com/athleticsaid_student. The Athletic Aid Agreement is one of the newer terms and changes in the last few years in college sports and recruiting. The name, image, and likeness, or NIL, is also new and affects recruiting. The NCAA.org website says, name, image, and likeness. Student athletes may receive compensation from third parties for the use of their name, image, and likeness, NIL, such as social media posts, brand appearances, or promoting products and services. All 3 NCAA divisions support opportunities for student athletes to pursue NIL consistent with rules that protect fair competition. What counts as an NIL deal? An NIL deal is any agreement where you are compensated, money, products, or services for allowing a company, brand, or person to use your name, image, or likeness, such as social posts, event appearances, or endorsements. Examples of NIL activities: social media posts or content for a brand, autograph signings, camps or clinics you host, appearances in commercials or promotional events, endorsement or sponsorship agreements. What is allowed and not allowed? Allowed when all are true. You are paid specifically for your use of your NIL, such as ads, posts, or appearances. The deal has a valid business purpose tied to a real product, service, or event offered to the public. Compensation within a reasonable range of people for similar fame or influence. You may use an agent or marketing professional for NIL activities. What is not allowed? Pay with no required promotional activity or deliverables. Agreements that say your NIL will be used later with no defined plan. Pay for play, including payment to attend or compete for a specific school or compensation for athletic participation or achievement. and compensation outside a reasonable range for similar deals. NIL affects all levels of college sports, all three NCAA levels, NAIA, and JUCO. NIL is even available to some high school student-athletes. The transfer portal is a revived term in today's recruiting world. Here are some explanations of the transfer portal from Gemini AI. The transfer portal is a centralized online database and compliance tool used by student-athletes to formally notify their current school of their intent to transfer to another institution. Launched in 2018, it replaced a more restrictive system that required athletes to seek permission from their coaches before speaking with other programs. The process is designed to bring transparency and efficiency to the recruitment of college athletes already enrolled in a program. The student-athlete notifies the school compliance office in writing that they wish to transfer. The school is required to enter the athlete's name into the database within 2 business days. Once listed, coaches from other universities can legally contact the athlete to discuss potential opportunities. Most athletes must enter the portal during specific windows, typically following their sports season, to remain eligible to play immediately at their next school. Under NCAA rules, most student-athletes who are academically eligible can transfer and play right away without the traditional sit-out year. Once the athlete enters the portal, their current school is no longer obligated to provide athletic aid for the following term, meaning the athlete could lose their scholarship if they don't find a new home. An athlete can withdraw their name from the portal, but the original school is not required to take them back or restore their roster spot. Gemini AI says impact on college sports on the transfer portal. The transfer portal has essentially created a free agency environment in college athletics. While it gives players more autonomy over their careers, it has also made roster management more complex for coaches, who must now re-recruit their own players every year to prevent them from leaving. Here are some more definitions of recruiting terms. Celebratory signing form, used by Division III schools. A standard NCAA-provided, non-binding form after you have been accepted for enrollment at a Division III school. Evaluation, when a college coach observes you practicing or competing. Financial aid, funds provided to you from various sources to pay or assist in paying your cost of education at an NCAA school. Institutional request list, a list of college-bound student-athletes who an NCAA school is interested in recruiting. This informs the eligibility center of the school's interest in having an academic or an athletic certificate decision for you. NCAA ID, a 10-digit number that an NCAA school recruiting you uses to place you on its institutional request list. Your NCAA ID is located in the top right corner of your Eligibility Center account. Official commitment, when you sign an athletics aid agreement for a scholarship with a Division I or Division II NCAA school. And verbal commitment, when you verbally agree to play sports for a college before you sign or are eligible to sign an athletics aid agreement. The commitment is not binding on you or the school. All these terms come from the NCAA.org website. You can also go to the NAIA.org website to get terms specific to NAIA, or go to the NJCAA.org website for junior college terminology. Get to know recruiting terms so that you can navigate your recruiting with more confidence. There are many, many more recruiting terms. Catch more in the Recruit Me 3.0 system. You can get access on the recruit-me.com website. Thank you for listening, and join me next week for another helpful recruiting education episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast.